Hello, welcome back from the edge of a world. Yeah, also always the nice eclipse, ominous eclipse. Since last time we did not have the time to get to the boss, let's do it now. And because we're being good people, we can actually summon Lap to actually help us. See, he really truly is a trusty fellow. Especially because we're probably gonna need that for this boss fight. I'm definitely a bit rusty on it. Take the plunge, you won't die. That's the only thing that you have been telling me so far, Gail. Alright, let's go. Whee! Especially because it's a dual fight against two literal bats out of hell. The demon from below and the demon in pain. I mean...
How are you not hurt there?
I mean, aren't we all in pain when you get down to it?
Speaking of pain, how are you not hurt there?
Remember, we've been doing... That's been kinda sort of the gimmick for the entirety of the level, so... Alright, speaking of gimmick, that's actually one for this boss fight. One of the two demons, usually, because the timing is a bit wonky, tends to be irradiated with flames, while the other is, more quiet, more docile and spews toxic. So you normally, under normal circumstances, you will need to keep the timing, but it's also important the way you actually defeat these demons. So it's important to decide which one you actually KO. Go on.
Also, dwarves don't question not getting damage in a game like this. Just take your wins.
Pretty much.
But they get damage from falling from smaller heights.
Yeah, so just
don't worry about it. Just take it and go.
Just like King Ram in King's Quest.
I mean, if you're gonna complain about it in other games, why not complain about it
Because,
here?
like I said, there was an entire gimmick tied to that, the specific context-sensitive points that actually prevented you from receiving falling damage.
Yeah.
And also because the known difficulty of these games, just like...
Yeah, again, I cannot...
You can take your wins.
I cannot guarantee how much it will be from this boss fight, because, again, since this was, post end of the game DLC, it assumes that you have a level of, skill and stats required to actually get there. In fact, if you don't beat Sister Friede, the only other way to access this DLC, this specific second DLC, is to get to the final boss arena, and there's a conveniently placed teleporter there. So it does assume that you are at the end of the game when you're doing this.
Nothing much has happened really. I mean, in terms of cinema releases, August and September.
Yeah, we're still recording these relatively close to the last part anyway, so...
Yeah, so nothing much there. Although, today we recently got an announcement regarding a highly anticipated video game compilation.
No.
Yes.
No.
The highly anticipated Bobsy the Perfect Collection.
No, that's... I'm gonna say Bubsy's mom is more anticipated than this.
Well, why do things keep getting worse?
It's coming out on in September, on Teo's birthday, no less, or at least roundabouts.
Yeah, the same date, 9 September 9th, so like it's not that much of a secret. Also, Shiroi, remember, in case you forgot, this was an initiative spearheaded by Limited Run Games, so you get to blame those for it.
Oh.
Remember, same jackasses who promoted the remaster of Plumbers Don't Wear Ties.
They've, in terms of what they've included the TV pilot, really.
The comic, the mini comic that was in the, what's it called, in the manual for Bubsy 2, I think.
Yeah. The 2D Bubsy games, including the Japanese version of the first game, and Bubsy 3D, Woo, and a new version of it, which which allows you to play it with better controls.
Also, there's just call what is actually labeled this version because the life hates me.
I can't remember the name.
It's in the article, something like the repurposed or something.
Bubsy repurposed version.
So the remake or sort of remaster is the bare minimum of what the game should have been.
Basically, because the only thing it adds, Shiri, is you can finally play with analog controls. Wow!
From a game made in 1996.
Like, yes, it is a significant improvement compared to the original, but my god,
it's still gonna look like that.
And the camera will be also atrocious, and the sound design, dear god.
Yeah, we're still gonna hear Bubsy's annoying.
Lani Minella.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, from what I understand, she's Lani Minella is of no illusion that people like that voice. She knows full well it's annoying.
Honestly, I think the only VA that actually managed to get away with everything is Doug Harold's, the one that they got for the new games. He just recorded his lines and went away with his life.
Poor guy, though, going from Digimon to that.
Well, to be fair, he also voiced Squall in the Cydia games, so, the guy is, used to bad roles. Anyway, because I can imagine there's a bit of confusion on the screen right now for you, Shiri, just to tell you, the gimmick is that after you defeated both demons, the one that you defeated last comes back as the very fluorescent Demon Prince, which is now properly in Technicolor, basically, and becomes very aggressive. Depending on who you defeat last, it will gain different attacks, and my recommendation, defeat for last, the demon from below, because if you defeat the demon in pain last, it will gain instead several magical attacks, which in turn will basically be screen nukes. But instead with this you have better chances. But you may see also, I might have noticed also the other problem, when it becomes the Demon's Prince, the boss becomes absurdly spongy, meaning that it's basically a test of endurance. So that's what we're here, folks.
It's not particularly flashy, which is nice, but a lot is happening.
It's more like the intensity of the color than anything, not like an intermittence or anything, but the fact that almost everything is bright orange, like the sun is exploding.
It's just really hard to tell what's actually happening.
Taking that as a kind of a prelude, because Elden Ring, like I said, has a lot of attacks that kind of tends to have this kind of, effect, not flashing, just very pretty colors on screen all the time because, ooh, particles!
Although I will say, I am hearing good things about that new Alien TV show.
I haven't even... I thought it was just a movie coming out soon. I thought the Predator was getting the TV show.
It's a limited edition, sorry, not limited, a limited run TV series on Disney Plus.
Obviously. So,
and Star, apparently soon to be renamed Hulu.
Well, to be fair, again, that's for the American audience. We already had the Star program for a very long while now.
I've given up on memorizing the names of all these files.
I mean, to be fair, it's actually convenient because it's just integrated in Disney Plus, so it's just the section of the service already. It's just better to say, yeah, we keep the Fox stuff in here, basically.
It's set 2 years before the events of the first movie.
Okay.
And one interesting thing about the production, for a brief period during the strike, the show still kept filming because while the American cast weren't involved, the British cast were working under an equity contract. And since equity isn't SAG-AFTRA, they just continued with the British cast.
I mean, I guess, work with the resources that you have, take advantage of the time, I suppose.
Yeah, they they stopped in late August because they filmed as much of the first episode as they could without the Americans.
Obviously.
And then they resumed filming in April the following year. It wrapped in mid-July, and the show came out a couple of days ago.
Alright, how many episodes does it have?
Let me see. At the moment, 2 episodes have been released, and there'll be 8 overall.
So, are they the standard 40-minute episodes that justify a season like with this amount of episode, or are they actually 26 minutes?
They, as of now, they range between 54 and 63 minutes.
Oh, okay, so yeah, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. And it was it's being run by Noah Hawley, who's previously known for making the 2014 version of Fargo and Legion.
Okay, I remember the first one, not the second.
Yeah, he's also worked on other shows like Bones,
Oh, I know
The
that one.
Unusuals.
Bones is basically a police procedural, but from the perspective of a coroner with a quirky personality.
Yeah,
Again,
he was only a writer on those.
Okay. Yeah, another thing that it's cool to exploit is that sometimes all versions of these demons tend to actually get stunned very easily, which allow you to exploit a weak point. A concept that was kinda introduced in Bloodborne, and was kept instead here for the sake of you giving you an alternative to the backstab. And also to note, the lamp is actually pretty much of a trooper. Tanks a lot of damage and has a good amount of healing items. Come on, Lap, you could have just stayed a bit away. And yeah, it always opens the second fight with that fucking fireball. Ow. It's also basically a testament, similar to how the old king was, the old demon king was. It was basically a last hurrah for the demons, also for this DLC. Especially because, no, not the laser beam, not the laser beam! Especially because, if I recall correctly, similar to other From Software products, this is basically content that was supposed to be in the original game, but they could not manage to implement it very well, so they repurposed it here. Not in a sense that it was complete and they didn't do nothing, it was just, you know, an asset that they decided to cut off during development time to focus on something else, and they repurposed it here, which is relatively understandable, you know, work smarter, not harder. And in this particular franchise, it's one of those that, as I said, easily adapts to the whole concept of you know, just created the gameplay first and will patch away story significance later. Because, as I said, Miyazaki has a tendency of having a plan from the get-go, but shuffling the decks into the card in a different manner at the last second for the sake of, you know, being unpredictable. Come on, Lap, we can do it. Ow. No. Okay. Ow. It kinda gets even better in Elden Ring, where one of the optional bosses, thankfully, well, we're still gonna try eventually when we get there, but one of the optional bosses tends to have golden fire, because it's a dragon that spits golden fire, because bling bling. But during the final phase, it literally turns into golden laser beams. It's hilarious.
You can't have fire and laser beams.
Sorry, Shiro. The lines between everything is possible. Keep that in mind.
I mean, why wouldn't you want that?
They're doing too much.
Look at what's going on here. There is no such thing as too much.
We're literally fighting a bat out of hell that is spewing fire almost from every single pore of its body. Go on.
So, are there any games you guys are thinking of getting in for the rest of this year?
The Final Fantasy Tactics remaster eventually when it comes out. As I said, I'm not super fond of the fact that it lacks the War of Alliance content, but I'm still definitely gonna get it because it's very convenient.
What about you, Shiri?
Could you repeat?
Any games you're thinking of getting that are coming out during the rest of this calendar year?
The offer release?
I guess Crossworld?
When is he coming out? I forgot.
I don't know. September something.
Oh, also in September.
I'll ask the internet. When is Sonic Racing Crossworlds coming out? 25th of September.
It's usually October, the month where everything is broken. It's called Broketober for a reason.
Like, listen, I'll take games outside of October. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll probably get it. I'll get it on PS5 and maybe Switch 2 when it comes out.
Okay.
I'll get it on PC because, like, the Switch will probably explode.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's coming to the Switch one as well.
Yeah, I still have. I wouldn't say an OG Switch, but it's like within the first couple of years of that console's lifespan. So yeah, no, it won't handle that very well.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got at the time of recording. I've still got my copy that I got around launch. It still works. I've never had any drift. Seriously, okay, I'm starting to wonder if the people who are getting the drift are just using their controllers wrong.
God damn it!
Shit. Also, Dwibs, I don't think that's the case considering there was a class action lawsuit over it.
Is it still ongoing?
I don't know, but like considering how Nintendo likes to shut down like complaints and stuff about them, considering they let you send them in to have them fixed or replaced for free, I think they know there's a problem.
Well, I mean, at some point I'm going to be selling the Switch 1, since the Switch 2 kind of makes that redundant, so...
Alright, here we go.
Like, it is very inconsistent, though, because I have one of my older Joy-Cons that's, like,
Drifting.
relatively okay. No, it's relatively okay, but then the rest just drift.
Tokyo drifting. I have a few friends here that actually have the same exact problems, and supposedly they're going to actually fix those just in time so they get their own version of the Switch 2.
The Pro Controller, like, doesn't really have this problem, and if it does, it's incredibly rare, it seems.
Another interesting thing about Sonic Racing Crossworlds, it's got a composer I've never heard of that much. It's Takahiro Kai, and previously he's done stuff like World Club Champion Football.
Okay.
His first game was a Sega Ages version of Galaxy Force 2 for the PS2, where he played the guitar.
Okay.
And his most recent work was his most recent one was some songs on Lost Judgment.
Okay. Yeah, well, probably a cute, not Easter egg, but something like that. Guest composing and all. It's kind of like how, what's it called? I got a reminder recently since I replayed it. For the Valkyrie boss fight in Final Fantasy VII Remake, the Eddie Gunner, if you forgot, they had the composer of Ace Combat 7 composing the remix track for the boss fight of that. No real particular reason, it's just cute. And I'm still convinced Motoi Sakuraba partially handled the Airbuster boss theme, but I don't have any evidence of that.
And the guy singing the theme song is actually someone I recognise.
Is it the Daytona guy?
No, James Bourne of the British band Busted.
That's a name.
Is that the same one they got for Sonic Crossworlds theme song? Or did they get a different member for that?
No, I said that the Team Sonic Racing Crossworlds, they got the guy off Busted to do the theme song.
Okay. Sorry, I thought you were talking about a different game for a moment, so I was like, oh, they're getting a lot of work apparently.
No. But yeah, I was surprised when I heard that, because I was thinking, wow, someone outside of Britain's heard of Busted.
It's like, damn, okay.
I mean, I can tell you that compared to America, my country knows a lot Robbie Williams, so there is that. I cannot tell.
Can you imagine him singing a Sonic theme?
I mean, he has been done, very awkward ads recently, so the guy is virtually no shame.
And they literally did a film about him last year.
Yeah, Better Man, it's called.
Yeah, I haven't seen it myself, but I've heard good things about it. In spite of the filmmakers making the mistake of assuming that anyone outside of Europe's heard of Robbie Williams.
Honestly, it would be a good introductory, but a biopic is actually a good introductory piece for someone who doesn't know anything about the person.
But they kind of decapped that with not only the large budget, but also they had it depicted as a monkey.
I thought it, again, I remember hearing about that in reviews, that it was a deliberate choice for Rob being as self-deprecation because he considered himself less of a man in some aspects.
And apparently it was to help the filmmakers get around the fact that no one outside of Europe knows who he is.
Sure, whatever.
It was from the same director. It's from the same director of The Greatest Showman.
Yeah, figured.
And apparently the film isn't shy at all about depicting Williams's both his low points as well as his high ones.
I mean, again, from what I heard, this was a decision from him. He wanted to be completely honest about his career. It's kind of similar to how if you don't know, the entire reason why the wall exists from Pink Floyd is because Roger Waters was at a concert and a fan was so excited by his performance that literally asked him to spit on them. I forgot who precisely they were. And he later, post-concert, had kind of a realization just how much turbulent his life was becoming that he created basically that particular biopic. And
well, I never thought that someone would spend over $100 million on a guy from Stoke, where I'm from, but they are.
To be fair, with any small country, even the most small of villages can, produce the quote-unquote, the finest of people. So it doesn't really matter anything geographical stuff.
Mind you, in terms of its filming locations, they made the brave decision to film in the well-known Staffordshire district of Melbourne.
So Australia.
Yeah, as well as Kurnjaka, a place in Belgrade in Serbia.
It's cheaper to filming stuff like that. I know the drill.
But we're Stoke. We don't get a lot of filming over here. Why don't we just film here?
Get Stoke.
I mean, that'd be like.
Hold on, here we go. My God, I managed to finish it with the front stab. Fine.
That'd be like making a biopic about a man born in Milan, but they film it in Turkey.
Anyway, Soul of a Demon Prince. I'll get you back on that in a second, Waves, but for the time being, let's check on our spoil, what we got. The Soul of a Demon Prince. The demons, birthed from a common chaos, share almost everything between them, even the pride of their prince and his near-faded flame, so that the last demon standing may rekindle it. So the idea is that the last standing demon did become the prince. That's why, you know, succession in a Klingon kind of way. This time around we actually managed to work around pretty decently, sparing also Estus Flask. Anyway, to mention, Dweebs, it's funny you say that because a couple of movies that were supposed to be set in Italy, filmed between the 50s and the 80s roughly, were filmed in a lot of places that were not admittedly there, like also, for example, Turkey. Anyway, moving forward, Throne. I mean, kinda. And here we get the small envoy banner. Like a dream, all the more lonely, because if you pay attention to the geography here, this is the architecture of the original Firelink Shrine. This is where the pool where the Great Serpent Prempt popped up. The altar. The door behind it. No illusory wall ahead. No. Yeah, definitely no illusory wall ahead. So it does ask us to actually move deeper into the center of the Earth, sorta, because it reaches the other major location of the Ringed City, which is, you know, the title of the DLC. Quite something. Seems familiar. And we get a cutscene. Similar to what we did before, by offering the banner, we have the taxi service driver demos taking us to the next location. There it is, the titular ring the city, the last vestiges at the end of the world.
What a lovely view.
I don't think you did it, Dweebs, because it's a rather obscure movie that I don't think you even had any way of accessing until I asked. But I'm curious, Shiro, have you seen the anime movie Angel's Egg? Or at least you know about it? Okay. Because this particular DLC takes a bit, not a lot, but a bit of inspiration from that. It's a very artsy kind of movie, not in a sense of to be negative, but while having a relatively concrete plot, it also allows to have, you know, not abstract imagery, but relying a lot on those. Anyway, there's someone here, let's talk to this person.
Hark! They brought thee here, did they not? Dost thou the gods serve, or merely that role affect?
Just serve the gods or I just pretend. I don't remember if there's a correct answer, so it's time for you two to make another decision. What should I say?
Just pretending.
Should I?
I serve the gods.
Okay, let me bust up the coin. Alright, heads is Dweebs, tails is Shiroi. Alright, Shiroi wins again, tails, so just pretending.
You're gonna make us into an egomaniac!
Yes, of course. How wouldst one such as thee do service to the gods?
Wait, just pretending was Dwibs' option.
Intimate
No,
knowledge
it
of thy
was it
kind.
yours? Well,
No,
fuck
I
it.
said just pretending.
Thy
Yeah.
Whatever. I
soul
seem to remember
is
it's
not
really irrelevant
whilst
because
was
it's
one
just
day
there
to
to
visit this
add
young
flavor,
age,
so it doesn't really impact on
rest
what we're
thy
gonna do.
gods dear.
That's why I also
Alright.
give you a bit of... you know, it's the illusion of choice, but still.
Yes.
I'll remember next time to actually give instead reason to what we suggest.
If it is the dark soul thou desirest,
There you go, this is also where they started name-dropping the Dark Souls a lot,
at
so...
the base of the cliff, there wilt thou the sleeping
Get
princess
if you actually are in the mood for a drinking game, don't start every time they say Dark Souls. I don't think you're gonna die, but you won't be in a very happy place by the end. Okay.
Worry not if thou art taken.
Yeah. Bye. Alright, especially because if I recall correctly, this first stretch introduces one particular gimmick that is as early on. Let me see if it's mentioned here. Dash required ahead, yes, because let's just say that we're not particularly welcomed by the local residents, and as they summon spectral archers that loves to shoot the hell out of us, Jesus. So what we need to do is once again do the Normandy thing, Normandy landing thing, and get behind cover when they pop up. Here we go. Let's see. Ah, safe zone. Let's also get here. There's also a Mr. Skeleton here, but it's not too big of a deal, so don't worry about it. I mean, these truly are the end of days if people are approaching the skeleton wars. Ow.
Here's a tip for the enemies. Just go for his hat. It's the source of the power.
That's not how it works. And it's not even a case like, say, the Punisher or Batman, where the symbol on the chest is actually instead reinforced plate, just because it will attract fire on that zone. Alright, let's give it another try, and if I can't get that much fast, I will instead go back to the main game boss fight that we have left unfinished, just so that we can get a bit ahead of that. Go. Ow. Let's see, if I recall correctly, I'm supposed to jump off from here? Because if I recall correctly, it's just bombarding me with everything, otherwise. Okay, let's give it a go. Yikes! Yeah, I know now what I was supposed to do. Okay. supposed to actually circle around the
Oh, oh.
I mean, like you said, remember, Elden Ring is considered gaining a significant advantage in terms of controls by giving you a dedicated, decent jump button.
Like you just clipped the edge there.
Like the amount of excuse that the fandom actually has built up themselves, not even From Software said about how the Chosen Undead, or in this case the Ashen One, cannot really jump that much because they're undead. So as a result, they're not as agile. Has always been all bullshit for obvious reason, because otherwise the agility is there. So.
Like, all of the undead enemies can move like nobody's business. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Well, of course it makes sense, Shiri. Those are the enemies, you're the player. You're not supposed to be like that.
Oh, no fun allowed, I see. Yes.
Yeah. It's kind of like with Final Fantasy XIII. You cannot have the I tier spells, because fuck you, I guess. Okay, here we go. Oh, Crystal Lizard. Get back here. I don't need you, but it's always fun. Especially because if I recall correctly, this one is leading you potentially into a trap. Oh no, actually. Alright, let's get up from the ladder.
I didn't have the time to mention it earlier,
Go
but
on.
the only other game that came out today, actually, that I
Okay.
might get. Not sure if I can play it because I know the original was a bit iffy, but maybe stuff has changed. I'll have to see other people play it for a little bit. Off.
Yeah, I think I did mention the bit in the past, because I was curious about what would you have thought about it. God damn it, was that close. Basically, the idea is that to kill the tall guy so that the summons disappear, but my timing needs to be a bit better than that. Again, even before this new version, I knew that Toby Fox was heavily inspired by it. So
Yes. No, I watched quite a few videos on the original, but I never actually got to play it.
I know that when it comes to gameplay, it's not really too hard because it was one of those, experimental RPG Maker games that is much more focused on the plot. Mind you, the gameplay component is still there, but it's not excessively difficult. There you go. Got the Crystal Lizard. Again, I don't really need Titanite anymore, but it's always fun. Do it. Alright, here we go. Ow. No. I literally got skewered by the execution squad. Alright, so let's change tactic and go to visit the Twin Princes again. The end of everything. Again, the Twin Princes are what remains of the main game before the final boss. Literally, there's not even a... The final dungeon literally was Glothic Castle, so... Let me just get... There you go. And when it comes to this, there's this final level, which has one more mandatory boss before the final boss of the DLC, and the secret boss, which we're not gonna do because it's infamously, super you know, spongy even for that. It's one of those that really recommends you being in co-op, and I cannot really guarantee that. Maybe we'll give it a look just to, you know, give you an idea of what to do. But it's a bit similar to Calamite from the first game. Actually, I might as well use this time to ask you something else, which related to something that me, Shiri, and the others did, but I'll need also your opinion because I know yours were a bit different back then.
Hmm?
Again, we've been continuing to watch the Pokemon OVAs, and we're again still in the Unova region movies, and we saw the Keldeo movie. I seem to remember that you did not particularly like the soundtrack of the specific zone movies.
Which movie was it?
The Unova, the one based on the Best Wishes season.
Is it the first one? In
That one was black
era?
and white, and I think you did tell me
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We watched. I watched. The only version I could get access to was the one with the really inferior soundtrack. And before you ask, no, it wasn't the dub's fault this time. It was actually that was a score from the Japanese side, and it was really
Okay,
boring.
no, I wanted to know instead if you had enough memories about instead the Keldeo movie, which was the other one after.
Um, I don't remember too much about it aside from the unfortunate.
Yeah, we know that. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I couldn't manage to summon that other phantom, alas. All right, guess we are on our own series. Ow. Wow, series couldn't really stand that much this round. Ow. Where are you? Ow. Yeah, not particularly. I'm a bit super rusty on this fight. I'll need to do more practice if I don't manage to pull it off. Ow. Come on. Oh, literally jumped on me. Alright, one more time and then we'll call it a day no matter what happens. Well, might as well actually use this time also to, you know, put a bit of foreshadowing slash curiosity. What did you think of the movies after the Caldeo one, Dweebs, if you can remember?
real mixed bag. I didn't really like that that brand new.
Gene Sect,
Yeah.
how it's pronounced.
I mean, I was more annoyed at it being a rip-off of the Avengers.
It was? How?
Well, that's what I remember typing in at the time. I don't remember how, because I don't really remember the movie.
I guess that's curious enough to, to get into that. What about the Diancie movie?
Again, honestly, all the movies aside from the last couple, just last few just kind of blended in for me.
It kind of seems to be, a common thing lately because I noticed while looking up some information that the reason why they stopped doing movies with the end of the sixth generations, at least for that kind of continuity attached to the anime, instead they went through a new direction. It's because they started bombing big time in Japan, so they thought it was not really worth it. Who knows? Maybe they will start doing those again, tied to the new series.
Maybe.
Outside of the infamous Itsuno Pikayus, I don't really remember how the I Choose You continuity is like.
I Choose You, the first one, is at times pretty hilariously bad.
Ouch.
Especially with that dickhead trader who abandons his Pokemon.
Oh, lovely. Well, to be fair, it's kind of a common recurrence thing in the anime.
He literally has some lines where he's like, friendship is for weaklings. What about the weak? They're trash!
I mean... that kind of line, that felt George Lucas tier level of, how bizarrely constructing a phrase is. Anyway, that's it for this part. Till the next time, I'm not sure if we were gonna continue try to go against the execution squad, or to continue try to fight against the twin princes. We'll see what happens. See ya!
So, yeah.
See ya.